to the fans, faithful, and passers-by of Dor Vahdor and pre-flood Earth. The Christmas tide season of December 2023 to January 2024 has concluded. Still, during that time, there was a very intriguing idea for a story within the world being built, in the creatures and human folk realms of the great western supercontinent of Caledonia. But before we move on, please like, share, subscribe, and check our social media platforms and merchandise store. Every bit of support helps. Now back to the matter for which you are all here. Essentially, what came about was the inspiration for a proto-legend of a Pahter Khnicholas versus a possessed Krampus, but with a twist. The concept would be a human and his companion from the late 3rd century AD post-flood Earth, walking through a portal in the Anatolia wilderness that transports their essence back to the pre-flood Earth world with all its beauty, goodness, and evil. What follows are the brainstorming notes and images we compiled on our Instagram account for your pleasure and enjoyment. The goal is for next season to craft this into a fun lost legend for our platforms. While names and details may change, the AUCR, aka essence, the core concept remains primarily set, and we are now delighted to share the text and picture insights with you. The codification of the name of the pre-flood Earth holiday will most likely be altered from the Christmas tide to the Adventist tide as the official overarching design. Ultimately, this story will be comprised in a novella octave, aka 8 parts, that may incorporate a follow-on 12-day event set before, at, and after the 25th of December. However, in the pre-flood Earth world, the names of the months would change, of course. So, Pahter Khnicholas and a faithful companion with him are driven through a part of the wilderness while traveling, and enter a portal that transports them to pre-flood Earth Caledonia during the winter season holiday known as Adventus, along with the 12 days of feasting tide, which is a religion. During days 1 to 3 of the 12 days of the feasting tide, they discover the western reaches of Caledonia and good human folk, but fallen powers, substances, and corrupted creatures dwell there, particularly deep within the Wald, a place of canyons, forests, and mountains similar in concept to an immense alpine region. The greatest evil from these fallen creatures is the Krampus, a being that grows over the decades to behemoth form, or that possesses a human man into a grotesque unrecognizable power. The Krampus will lead all the forces of wickedness to prey and seize upon the pure bloodline human folk, especially human children, for sacrifice and consumption. Pahter Khnicholas and his companion learn of this creature from the humans they meet. The companion, in particular, grows very intrigued. They are also told about the tremendous antlered creatures that roam the area. These creatures are always at odds with anyone who treads upon their glens and forests. All of these creatures are noble and powerful, and it is even rumored that some may have the ability to fly. Both men find a jolly time and good cheer, but their approach awakens the spirits of the air. But these were not righteous orders and powers. These were the minions of the fallen ones, their Nephilim descendants, and those who sought to corrupt more to their ranks so that one day they might bring the final doom to pure and undefiled human bloodlines. At some point, Pahter Khnicholas' companion becomes separated and the minions discover him in isolation. The minions dialogued with him the following: "If you embrace corruption, you shall be remade into a substance more powerful than what you think possible." The creature said, "Embrace what we all have, and let us possess you." Then what follows is the highlights of the notes over each of the various days of the story. On the 5th day, a female and her faithful beast of pure blood sensed that all was not well in pre-flood Earth and that a man was in great peril. She and her faithful beast would search the Wald as a result. The 6th day, the lost companion ponders, "Perhaps I should submit to the corruption, fully manifest, and be reborn unto the ranks of these folk called the defiled." Then, on the 7th day, strange things and folk abroad would see natural, unnatural, and supernatural events take shape even more. On the 8th day, we observe and hope that Pahter Khnicholas' companion's spirit can truly survive the slow corrupting process as the Pahter travels to the heart of the Wald. Pahter Khnicholas in his search for his companion comes across a small creature who communicates with him, and Khnicholas spake, "My little fellow, what might thee be, and whereabouts is this mountainous place? I had another companion like me who became separated. Who am I? I am from another place but bring the IUCR of a very special season." On the 9th day, the corrupted creature and minions conspire. Yes, the young one was greeted by the male. And he was of the pure blood. He was human. Both creatures paused, and then the two-legged one rose. "Go to our sovereign, and let him know. I shall find the man's companion and finish the defilement of its rucr. Then they departed. On the 10th day, Pahter Khnicholas gazed in dismay as he finally came across his old companion and gazed in utter shock as the human he once traveled to this place called Caledonia was changing substance. But Nicholas's plea for him to stay was ignored, and his companion passed on, turning only once and spake, "Now I do what I will and the will of him, my dread sovereign." On the 11th day of Adventus, the final showdown commenced between Pahter Khnicholas and his former companion, who had turned to corruption and embraced Krampus rucr. A battle of single combat commenced during the night through midnight and unto the accursed hour. "You will surrender and yield your rucr to me, Pahter Khnicholas, my old companion. Now I have the power beyond your comprehension," the Krampus spake vilely. "You have drawn first, but this shall not be the last blade drawn this 12th night eve. For my blade is mighty and Santus, old companion," Pahter Khnicholas retorted. "Ha, old friend, you think your tinker toy is a match for the powers that have made me," the Krampus spake back to Pahter Khnicholas. "Think again, for none shall stand this night against the darkness and defiled rucr. I say nay to thee, demon, and this holy steel shall bring thee to thy doom. By the Santus thee are defeated. Yield to him and surrender before the full power of the Trisagon. Krampus, release him that you have possessed the most foul rucr." "No," cried voices from within the man. "He is ours as is this night, and all the human folk and children that we have taken." "No," spake Pahter Khnicholas, "no. I have been given authority over thee to drive you out of him and all this Caledonian land. Get out." "Never," the creatures roared. "Then by all that is righteous and eternal, come out of him, ye fallen spirits," Pahter Khnicholas commanded. "No," a voice of legion replied, and the body changed. "No, he is ours in this land to rule. You cannot. My companion, I release thee." A brilliant flash and blood-curdling scream, and in an instant, Khnicholas saw his old companion staring back at him. "Khnicholas." "Yes, old friend, the Trisagon has saved us all, but the battle had taken such a toll on them." Pahter Khnicholas went forth with his companion restored, gathered the faithful men of the western reaches of Caledonia, and drove out the corrupted and defiled folk and creatures of the Krampus. Still, it was at a tremendous toll, for he now was aged considerably, not being from this land. Yet, he strove as a man of renown as he led the pure human stock of creation along with the noble, most powerful antlered beasts to victory. And then, as the darkness seemed the blackest, a voice cried, "The dawn comes of a new day." And on the 12th day of the Caledonian feasting tide of Adventus, the sun rose in the east, and a blinding light poured over the body. The rucr of Pahter Khnicholas and the whole folk assembled before him saw him renewed in great stature and strength, more renowned than ever. And there was a feast above all feasts that was had, and it would be passed on from generation to generation, even beyond pre-flood earth. But alas, as the 12th day drew to a close, Pahter Khnicholas heard the command and knew he must return to the place and time where he had come, but he would not be going alone. The human men and noble beasts accompanied him until they could go no further, but Pahter Khnicholas selected the most pure and noble of the lot, laying on his hands in blessing of his strengths and gifts, along with his tools and authority to act in the name of the Trisagon that had sent him should the Krampus rucr ever return again. Then, a powerful antlered creature came forth to Pahter Khnicholas, and all gathered there knew he was a great sovereign in his own right. The beast spoke majestically to the human man, "Pahter Khnicholas, my kin, and I, and our descendants shall help thy appointed ones bear this burden against the Krampus. We and all our antlered kin shall labor with thee and guard thee as you have done so for your kind and ours." The great antlered sovereign lowered his horns in respect, and Pahter Khnicholas kneeled, thanked him, and gave the creature a blessed kiss of peace. The antler sovereign then bid one of his most beloved females to accompany the human on his journey and dwell with him until his or her death. Pahter Khnicholas wept at such kindness, yet he protested this was too much. But the female antlered creature spoke sweetly to him and nuzzled her face upon the man's shoulder, after which he protested no more. Finally, after many fond farewells, honors, gifts, and remembrances that Pahter Khnicholas placed in a large sack that he slung over his shoulder, he bid all the Caledonian folk peace and began his journey home by way of another portal that was shown to him. But before he and the antlered creature stepped through, Pahter Khnicholas turned one last time, saluted, waved and cried, "A blessed Adventus and feasting tide to you all." And let not your heart be troubled, for even when all hope seems lost, the Trisagon will ensure all shall be made right. This concept for a Caledonian Adventus and Feasting Tide Pre-Flood Earth story is copyrighted 2023 by Novus Renaissance, the home of the supernatural fantasy series Dor Vahdor, and its lost legends and sagas of pre-flood Earth. The world of fans are following us. Are you? Come and join us on this great adventure.